Welcome to the Beyond Social Media Show, the podcast for marketing, advertising, public relations, and communications professionals. We're recording live on YouTube on September 22, 2016. Topics this week are many. Trump and Hillary, of course. Apple's nutty professor, auto hacking, a GOTV campaign, social news, NFL's experiential marketing, bovine privacy, and a lot more. We always kick it off with the worst story of the week. And BL, you kick it off. What was the worst story?
Well, it was Donald Trump Jr. this week and his comparison of Skittles to Syrian refugees. And so on Monday night, when I go to a debate watching party, the only food we plan to eat are Skittles. And that's at the suggestion of Stuart Elliott, who said that that's the candy we should all be giving out on Halloween. That's my plan. I'm gonna give all those little kids Skittles. And that's good because I don't like them, and so I won't eat them before the kids get here. But this came from a story by Christine Hauser in the New York Times, and it also spurred a strong response from Wrigley, the owner of Skittles. And what Trump said in a tweet is, if I had a bowl of Skittles and I told you that just 3 would kill you, would you take a handful? That's our Syrian refugee problem. And there was a bowl of Skittles and the Trump campaign. And almost immediately, Skittles made a statement. Wrigley is the company that owns Skittles, and they said, Skittles are candy, refugees are people. We don't feel it's an appropriate analogy. We will respectfully refrain from further commentary, as anything we say could be misinterpreted as marketing. And the spokeswoman who said that, that was initially reported by Seth Abramowitz in the Holiday Reporter. Trump was also accused of plagiarism on that one because conservative talk show host Joe Walsh said, well, I said that a month ago. He said, I made that exact analogy a month ago because, you know, genius runs in those circles. And then someone else saw a clear link to the white supremacist themes and to Trayvon Martin. And of course, there was the fact that Trump Jr. tweeted from an iPhone made by Apple, co-founded by Steve Jobs, the son of a Syrian immigrant.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of irony to go around this election season.
I mean, that one just, that's mind-boggling.
No transition, but does the number 28 mean anything to you, BL?
Not really.
Nope, didn't mean anything to me until this week when it was reported by the Next Web's Matthew Hughes that North Korea apparently has only 28 websites. There was a configuration error on their top-level domain, which is .kp, which allowed researchers to basically map the entire North Korean external-facing internet. North Korea has a internal version of the internet that can only be accessed within the country, and there are just 28 domains using the .kp top-level domain. 28. So that's a glimpse into what a society looks like that has a strongman cult of personality leader. Just so you know.
I love that. So this past week, criminals targeted the UK's Nat West customers with a fake help account. Now, the problem here is that they had done exactly the same thing a week earlier. It was taken down by Twitter, and another one came up, and the copycat account started targeting users on September 14th, and the criminals started this was very clever, actually. They started tweeting to actual Nat West customers who had gotten in touch with the bank's genuine, verified social media team for help with their banking issues. So the fraud people instructed customers to visit a spoofed site to verify their accounts, and it was designed to look exactly like the next Nat West online page. What they did that was really clever was they asked for a mobile number to, quote, confirm it's really you, and then you had to enter your full password, and then they said, oops, that password is wrong. Please create a new one. And then you were taken to a security page where you had to put in all this sensitive information, name, date of birth, account details, which people actually did. Nat West has a verified Twitter account. The fake Twitter account was not following any other users, nor had it had any kind of activity. So that's a pretty good indication that it's a suspicious site. Twitter users were quick to inform the potential victims, on Twitter, and they were blocking users to stop the fraud people started blocking users so they wouldn't see the authentic Nat West. I mean, it really got crazy. But finally, Twitter took it all down within 24 hours. And a lot can happen in 24 hours.
Yeah, speaking of which, I mean, the breaking story today was Yahoo getting hacked. 500 million Yahoo accounts were apparently stolen from what they say was a state-sponsored hacker. So, yeah, change your passwords. Apparently, the hack occurred in 2014.
Well, that's the thing, and we're just finding out about it now. Like, what the hell is going on there?
Yep. So there's that. Apple thinks professors are nerds. This is from a Chronicle of Higher Education article by Fernanda Zamudio Suarez. So after the iOS 10 update, when you type in when a texter types in professor, the software suggests the nerd face emoji, which is a yellow smiley face with buck teeth and black wide frame glasses. Pauline Reynolds was quoted in this story. She's an associate professor of leadership and counseling who studies higher education and pop culture at the University of Redlands, said the emoji immediately reminded her of Jerry Lewis's character in the 1963 comedy, The Nutty Professor. Yes. But the fact that when you type in professor, a nerd face emoji shows up kind of reflects the attitudes Americans have towards intellectuals: disdain and ridicule. So,
well, some Americans, let's hope not the majority, because November 8th is coming. Speaking of which, I think that takes us to better news, yes?
No, it does not. We still have bad things to talk about.
I'm done with bad things.
So the next web's Abhimanyu Ghoshal. I'm going to get his name right eventually. They wrote about a team of researchers from Keen Security Labs, which is part of China's company Tencent, demonstrated in a video how they managed to remotely hack a Telsa Model S vehicle. They opened the sunroof.
From China?
They moved the researchers from China. They opened the sunroof. They moved the seats by controlling the parked vehicle from a few feet away. And the video also showed they could disable the in-dash control panel and even engage the brakes from a remote location 12 miles away. They discovered the security flaws in Telsa's vehicle systems, and the remote hacking methods would work on various models of the company's cars. Within 10 days, Telsa had a security update that they rolled out. Tesla told Reuters that the attack could only be triggered when a Tesla in-car browser was used and the vehicle was in range of a compromised Wi-Fi hotspot to which it was connected. But, I mean, if an individual can hack a car, they can hack a system through which the car is connected, and ultimately we're going to have self-driving cars. We're going to have a system that controls the traffic of all those self-driving cars. This is a security problem that needs to be solved.
Good Lord. I mean, who thinks of wanting to do those things?
Well, researchers.
What would we do without researchers? Okay, you got more bad news?
I don't.
Okay. So on to good news. Every campaign has celebrities who come out and tell you got to register to vote. And this one has a great parody of those videos. And this one is sort of self-deprecating. It's called SaveTheDay.VOTE. That's the website, and it's got Mark Rufalo, Scarlett Johansen, a whole bunch of other celebrities, and they're all very self-aware, and they are self-parodying, but the bottom line is they're telling you that you must register to vote. And you also get to look at James Franco's horrible mustache. But in addition to that, the U.S. government has voter requirements and registration deadline state by state. We'll include a link to that. There's Rock the Vote, which is a information and registration site for young people. I believe 31 states have online registration. I do know the deadline in New York is October 18th. Please, people, please vote. That's the only defense we have against talking Cheetos.
Okay, so after that, we've got more political news. Hillary Clinton appeared on Between Two Ferns.
Good for her.
Here dies Between Two Ferns. Zach Galifianakis interviews celebrities. He did Barack Obama, of course, back when Obama was rolling out Obamacare and wanted people to sign up for it. And now he's got Hillary Clinton on. And some of the questions he asked are, well, classic Galifianakis. Are you excited to be the first girl president? As secretary, how many words per minute could you type?
Did he really?
And then he said, he asked her, when you see how well it works for Donald Trump, do you ever think, oh, maybe I should be more racist? And finally, as she was about to launch into a discussion about her economic plan, Zach interrupted her to cut to a sponsored message, which was, of course, a Donald Trump commercial.
Oh, stop. Really?
So it was hilarious. Yeah. So she needs to do more of these pop culture kind of things because she needs to.
You know, in 2008, they started out, the Clintons started out with a wonderful video that was a takeoff on The Sopranos, on the last episode of The Sopranos, or one of the last episodes. And it was hilariously funny. And everybody criticized them for being funny. I mean, you can't win if you're Hillary until it comes to the election, because she's going to freaking win that one big time. Please. Anyway, Starbucks is doing something wonderful, and someday it is my prayer that Howard Schultz will run for president. He's the CEO of Starbucks. They have done so many wonderful things, and right now they have the Upstanders campaign. It's a multi-platform original content series, and it's aiming at highlighting ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and also on encouraging people to do that. And so they share real stories of humanity through written video and podcast format as a reminder that the things that you do, that ordinary citizens do, can have a big impact, and don't be a bystander. So it wants to encourage people to engage in acts of compassion, citizenship, and civility. And there are 10 stories. They're each written, video, and podcast, and they're all people trying to create positive change in their community. And they're produced and written by Howard Schultz, who's Starbucks chairman, and I hope I can pronounce this name. You know, this is what we lack that mainstream media has, somebody to tell us how to pronounce names. But this is Rajiv Chandrasekaran, and he's Starbucks executive producer, but he was a former editor of the Washington Post. And throughout the month of September, they're actually holding town hall events to promote this type of civic participation in Memphis and Dallas and Deerfield, Florida, and in Washington, D.C. And they want to have people come together to talk about how we can promote positive change. So, of course, there's a spoiler. Larry Dubrow gave it a totally negative review in Media Post video critique. He said it was devoid of humor and spontaneity. Well, I don't really think that being socially responsible has to be funny. Seriously. Me, I want Howard Schultz to run for president, and I think this is a great campaign.
Well, I don't have any transition except to say that I expect you can probably get a Starbucks coffee in the new Vikings stadium. So,
I, by the way, don't drink Starbucks coffee. I just like Starbucks as a company.
I am a big fan of Starbucks coffee. In fact, I have some beans in my bag that I bought today from Starbucks that I go to every day, but that's another story. The Vikings, my team, rolled out their first home game they played last Sunday night on national TV. in their new spanking stadium. So whenever a new NFL stadium is built, there's plenty of controversy, plenty of arguments not to build stadiums with public subsidies, but it happens. It happened here in Minnesota, and we have a new spanking stadium to thank for it. Rachel Blount of the Star Tribune wrote an excellent article about how they constructed the stadium with television in mind. So obviously, NFL football on television is huge, and so they want to make the most of it, and they're actually thinking about it when they design stadiums. The Vikings played their home opener, as I said, last Sunday night against the Green Bay Packers on national television, and the broadcast itself highlighted a lot of the features of the stadium that were television friendly. So the Vikings design itself, teams want their stadiums to look unique so that they're noticeable at a glance. The Vikings stadium design looks like a Viking ship. It's got transparent roof that lets the sunlight in, so it's good for natural lighting for television. It's got massive doors that swing open for warm weather, but also show a beautiful view of the Minneapolis skyline, which is a great shot for going into and out of commercials. So it's literally made for TV. There's a lot of features that are designed to make the game look as good on TV as it is in the $400 seats. But the NFL and broadcast partners consulted on the design of this stadium and helped shape the decisions about sight lines and specialty cameras. So there's an average of 22.5 million people watched Sunday Night Football telecasts in 2015. 46 of the 50 most watched programs on TV last year were NFL games. The Vikings invited the director of NBC Sunday Night Football and other network executives to view the stadium during the construction. Their crews employ about 175 people, 5 mobile units, 30 cameras, including there's one mounted on an airplane that flew over the stadium to give an aerial view of what it looks like through the glass of the roof. So there's a vice president of HKS Architects, who is a principal designer of this stadium, said that television audience has become a huge consideration for stadium planning. And that's part of the reason they move away from cookie cutter stadiums, so they're instantly recognizable. But they've got a robotic camera that's mounted on the ceiling directly above the 50-yard line, so you can see plays directly from above. The stadium is lit. It's the first stadium in the United States that's lit with LED lighting for television broadcast specifically. Yeah. Yep. It's also set up cameras in places such as the rafters, on pylons at the goalpost, so you can see the action from the pylon. And it's broadcast in 4K. Eventually, I expect the NFL broadcast to evolve to the point where they've got helmet cameras in the player's helmet, so you can see it from their point of view. Imagine seeing what the quarterback is doing.
GoPro, where are you?
Exactly. Yep. Cameras in the tip of the ball, so you can watch the flight. You can see it from the ball's point of view, and sensors in the balls and the players too. So you get data visualizations of how a play ruled out. So they're really on top of their content marketing, essentially.
You see, dear listeners, Dave is a very big football fan. But I want to know, did they say skull?
Yes, they did. In fact, they before the game they taught the crowd how to chant skull, because they're trying to get everybody to say that. Every team has their own chants, and the Vikings really haven't until now. So,
well, for those of you who missed last week, perhaps Dave can repeat what skull means.
Well, we refer them to episode number 157, which they can watch on BeyondSocialMediaShow.com/157.
Good way to go. Okay, so we've had conversations here about whether or not Facebook is doing a decent job of becoming a news gathering organization, and really since they got rid of the humans, it's only gotten worse. And this is an interesting coalition. Facebook and Twitter have joined a coalition that is based on a network organized by Google, which is, to me, fascinating. And in addition to Facebook and Twitter, Channel 4 News, The Telegraph, New York Times, Washington Post, BuzzFeed, and several other news organizations have signed into a coalition that is designed to improve reporting from social media and tackle fake news. But the involvement of Facebook in particular is significant because of its huge role in distributing and gathering news. And of course, the growing concern about them spreading fake stories and its approach to what can and can't be, posted on its platform. First Draft, which is the Google operation, is a coalition of organizations specializing in social news gathering and the important part, verification. And it includes the News Corps owned Storyful, reportedly Al Jazeera, AJ Plus, Breaking News, International Business Times UK, Amnesty International, European Journalism Center, and American Press Institute. And it's designed to help news organizations work with tech companies to improve news gatherings and make verification of information from social media more effective and easier to access. I can't begin to tell you how it irks me when I see things in my feed from people who have not bothered to verify the information that they're posting. More often than not, it's just poorly reported, but often it's just old, it's old news. Breaking news, excuse me, you're not Clark Kent, you don't really have breaking news, unless you were in the middle of it. It's highly unlikely. And, people just have to learn to vet the information. I have a degree in journalism. You vet information from 3 credible sources before you post it. And
so what news organization
does
does that these days, though?
Well, this is to try and make the standards of online journalism higher.
No, it's
God
good.
knows newspaper journalism isn't checking sources either.
Right. It's good. I mean, those organizations, all of them obviously have an interest in not having their platforms used to spread fake news. There's a higher standard for organizations than there are for individuals, ordinary people in vetting their news. But the Facebook in particular, since they fired their human staff, their algorithm
Their
for
news is
trending
terrible.
stories is crap. It's crap.
Total crap. I don't even look at it anymore. The only thing I saw there this week that was that it was Leonard Cohen's 82nd birthday, and he released a very dark song to us. He gave us a gift, and it's from his new and possibly last album because he was 82. I read that on Facebook. Other than that, I really don't look at their news because it's such bullshit.
Yeah. So one thing that kind of tied into that, Facebook, we've talked about Facebook Live many times and how in some instances it's used for breaking news. But now Facebook Live is prior to now, it was a mobile only feature, but now it's coming to desktop. We talked about that potentially happening, but Social Times' David Cohen has an article where Facebook has confirmed that it's begun rolling out live to the desktop and laptop computers. I have it, so I can confirm that it actually is starting to roll out. They're starting to roll out the ability for people to broadcast live from the desktop or laptop. Small percentage of users right now, but eventually they'll roll it out to everyone. I checked all the pages that I manage, and it's not available for any of the pages, so it appears to be just individuals right now. I'd expect that to come to pages eventually, but Facebook says this is in response to demand from journalists, vloggers, and do-it-yourselfers, among others. So
what I'm waiting for is for them to make it possible for us to do the show from 2 remote locations, where there can be more than one person broadcasting, and that's inevitable.
I think that'd be coming. Also, of note is that peripheral cameras are supported, so you don't necessarily need to use the camera that's built into your laptop. So.
Interesting. Definitely interesting. So this one just makes me happy. The naked Trump statues are back, and now they're gazing at motorists near the Holland Tunnel and from a location in Florida. And the other morning, this is a great story by Peter Hawley in the Washington Post. And his story started out, the road leading to the Holland Tunnel is already an automotive eyesore, even by Jersey City standards. Jersey City's roadway is so ugly. But there's one thing certain to make this exorable stretch of rundown warehouses and gas stations even more unsightly: Donald Trump's naked flesh. And more than 41,000 motorists pass through the tunnel on an average day, according to the Port Authority. And so there he is. He's out there naked. And 1,200 miles away, the Miami statue was placed on top of a billboard near a vacant property, and it faces Interstate 95, according to the NBC affiliate WTVJ. And In Decline, who's responsible for these things, said, unlike the first 5, these 2 are set to run until the election in November, at which time they will be returned to In Decline and put up for auction. The statue's place there is highly visible to computers, and as an arts institution and privately owned business, we feel responsible for bringing attention to Mr. Trump's dangerous rhetoric, says Eugene LeMay, president of the group that owns the shopping center where the billboard is that has the Trump statue on top of it. So this won't be your last chance to get a glimpse of the nude Republican candidate, because In Decline said that the group's been absolutely inundated with requests for naked Trump action figures. Those are going to be available for $20 on their website within the next few weeks.
Yeah, I don't want to see that at all. I would prefer that those images be blurred out. I mean, entirely blurred out. I wonder who could do the blurring. Perhaps Google? They seem to be pretty good at it. They seem to be pretty good at blurring out images. Not
when
perfect,
they want
but
to.
pretty good. This is from an article, a Mashable article by Sam Hasen.
What a lead-in, Dave.
Comments on a Google Street View image of a British cow with its face blurred out. That was shared online. It was shared online. The image was shared online. Obviously, it went viral. There were, however, images prior to the one that was captured of the bovine with the blurred face that showed its facial visage clearly and unblurred. BBC got on the case. They contacted Google for a response, and Google responded with this. We thought you were pulling the udder one when we heard the moos, but it's clear that our automatic face blurring technology has been a little overzealous. Of course, we don't begrudge this cow milking its 5 minutes of fame.
What a great statement. I love that. Well, NASA made a pretty great statement this week, too. And on Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern, they are live streaming a press conference about what they call surprising activity on Europa, which is one of Pluto's frozen moons. And so people were saying, gee, surprising activity. Have they found aliens? And they tweeted a spoiler alert. They said, spoiler alert, no aliens. But they think there may be the surprise may be that there's evidence that may prove that there's a subsurface ocean on Europa, which I guess nobody thought could exist. I love NASA and the stuff that they do with social media. I mean, I don't know if there's any government organization that's ever done it better, with the exception of the Obama White House.
So, yeah, no transition there, but this is awfully cool. I think it's perhaps even cooler. This is from a Petapixel post by Michael Zhang about a Vimeo staff pick. You know, Vimeo has their staff pick videos that they highlight. And so this is a Vimeo staff pick of a video called The Old New World. And it's an animated video that starts out with a sort of a steampunk machine introduction where it goes all steampunky and does gears and stuff and blah, 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 which opens to an animated video that used vintage photos, still photos, of New York, Boston, Detroit, Washington, D.C., and Baltimore between 1900 and 1940 that were obtained from the website Sharpie, which is fantastic. You got to check it out. And it's by an animator named Alexei Zakharov of Moscow, Russia. And he brought these old photos to life with a camera projection technique. It's a technique that's also called camera mapping that allows you to give a 3D look to a scene. And so this animation is a breathtaking film, basically, that gives you a real feel as if you're watching actual film of 1900 era streets in Washington and New York, of people walking through the streets and you know, Model T Fords driving by. Wonderfully done. There's a link to his Behance page on with still frames of video. But if you want to watch it, you'll have to go to beyondsocialmediashow.com/158, and we'll embed the video there.
I can't wait to see that. So I believe that brings us to shiny objects.
It does indeed.
Go ahead, give us a shiny object.
So watch video faster. Everybody wants to save time. I listen to podcasts at like 1.5 times the speed to get through them quicker. The Efficiency is Everything website has some hacks for you to watch video faster. So on YouTube, you can go to the little bar where the play button is, and to the I guess if you're looking at the play button, to the right of the play button, there's a little gear icon. Click on that gear icon in the settings, and then click on speed from the pop-up window. Select a speed, so you can select a speed, and then save time. Watch the video at 1.5 times or 1.1 time they recommend. Actually, the guy who wrote the blog post said he watches his videos at 1.3 times, so you save a lot of time. It also includes a hack for watching Netflix movies or video faster. So there you go, save some time.
You know, this thing about time, we're so nuts. And this week, the lead story in New York Magazine is by Andrew Sullivan, and he has given up the internet. And he said it was ruining his life. You know, the whole idea of trying to do things faster. He was trying to post on his blog, he was trying to post once every half hour. I mean, that's like, you know, he was doing that while he wasn't doing his life, is what he finally realized. And so now he's gotten into meditation, and he went away to a place where you had to put your phone in a basket and you know, be without it for the whole time you were there. And he said it was absolutely horrifying. And he realized like how addicted we are to all of this. And I'm guilty. The first thing I do in the morning is look at my phone and read the news, you know, and look at Twitter. And I mean, that's bad. I have to stop.
Yeah, but that's Andrew Sullivan's going from one extreme to the other extreme. It's
come on, we're pretty extreme, Dave.
Yeah, I have a life. I can go and play football on Saturday, and
I go to the park every morning with the dog,
there you go.
I do not bring the phone. So I do have one app, and it was something that I came upon this week, and I have, my package hasn't got there yet, but I like everything that's happened up till now. It's an app called Ship, spelled SHYP. I believe it's Android as well as iOS. And basically what you do is you tell them the size and the weight of your package, and then they come and get it. They wrap it securely and box it securely, and then they find the least expensive way to send it at the speed you want it to go at. And so basically I had a $5 coupon as a first-time customer, so it cost $10 for them to box the app. It would have been $5 for them to pick it up, and then they found a way to send it for like $22 that would have cost me, because I don't do a lot of UPS shipping or FedEx ground shipping, would have cost me significantly more. And you know, I can trace it on my phone. It's going to get there within 2 to 10 days. And I'm going to tell you next week how the eBay seller acted about this return, because he hasn't been very nice so far. So we may have to talk about Sammy's camera next week.
So I've got another cool tool, but it's kind of old school. It's really old school, actually. When we started the podcast today, BL, you commented that I looked blurry.
You were very blurry.
Yeah. I sort of felt like it might be because I'm tired, but no, turns out it wasn't. My camera was making me blurry, and so I've got a solution for that. If your camera goes blurry, whether it's on your laptop or it's on your phone, you're doing selfies and you're looking really blurry on your selfies, there's a reason. It's dirty. So what you do is you get an old school cool tool like this, a Q-tip, and you dip it in rubbing alcohol and you rub it across your camera. And then you clean the camera and use. I
hate to tell you, you just got blurry.
To dry it off. Well, I must have used the dirty side, right?
You are blurry once again, unfortunately.
I must be tired.
But it did work earlier. Yeah, now it's because you're tired for sure. Yeah. It totally worked earlier. All of a sudden, he went from being blurry to being sharp.
All right, so
So,
let's wrap this up.
okay.
All right, so daily numbers, trust in media, always a good thing to talk about. This is from Gallup. Americans' trust in mass media. The question is, in general, how much trust and confidence do you have in the mass media, such as newspapers, TV, and radio, when it comes to reporting the news fully, accurately, and fairly? A great deal, a fair amount, not very much, or none at all. The percentage of respondents who said a great deal or a fair amount in 1999 at its peak was 55%. In 2016, that number has plummeted to 32%. I wonder why.
But even 55%, I would have thought it would have been more at that point in time.
Yeah, that's even after the Clinton
Watergate.
impeachment era.
Yeah, and Watergate, all that stuff. Okay, I think that's it for episode 158 of the Beyond Social Media Show. So you will be able to find the video, which will be time-stamped, so that you will be able to click on a time next to a topic and jump to that section of the video. And you will find that at BeyondSocialMediaShow.com/158. And we hope you leave us a review on the site. And you can find David Erickson on Twitter, where he is D. Erickson. And he blogs at eStrategyBlog.com and CreativePR.com/blog, both of which are seriously terrific, and I highly recommend them. They're among my must-reads on a weekly basis. I'm B.L. Ackman, and I am at What's Next on Twitter. My blog since 2002 is what'snextblog.com. I blog at pawfun.com, which is for pet lovers, and I run maximum-plus.com for live-streamed events and social video. The show is beyondsocialmediashow.com. On Twitter, we are at BS Media. If you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, you won't miss an episode. And we will be back next week, same time, same station. And we thank you so much for watching tonight.
Thanks for watching.